Good evening, everybody, from the Fernino household. As you can see, everything is okay here at the Fernino homestead. This evening, I've got a fine fire going right back there, snuggling around that with the cats on my new addition, my new bunny rabbit. They're all fine. I can't transfer it to felines or rabbits. There's an "ine" for rabbits. I just forget what it is. It's not lupine, that's wolf. It's a weird word, I remember that. But greetings. Good to see everybody tonight. I just thought I'd call together an emergency chill session with some books and bourbon. I was a little inspired by friends of mine as well, musician friends who have posted performances, live performances, which were awesome. Thank you guys. I got a kick out of that. I wish I was there with you. I was going to just go downstairs and set up the drums and play an extended drum solo live, but I figured the only people who would watch that are other drummers. So, oh well. You get emergency books and bourbon. So I hope everyone's doing okay. I think everyone is. I haven't really read or seen too much otherwise. So stay safe. Enjoy your indoor recess time, because it looks like that's what we're all going to get for a while here. So I haven't been to work in a couple weeks. Still working, but thankfully, I hope everyone else who isn't is doing all right. So what I wanted to do tonight was to share a shot of bourbon with everybody on this chilly March evening. Bourbon did have medicinal powers, or so they believed when they invented it. It was approved by a medical association of some quack kind back in the 1800s, and it worked as a pretty good anesthetic back in the day. So, you know, I find it a medicinal choice for the evening. May it improve our health and well-being. And tonight I also chose, to go with the fire, I chose a very mediocre red wine to enjoy with everybody this evening. So, welcome, welcome. It's not going to be a very long one, or it might be. You never know, right? It's about 8 o'clock right now, so I'm just getting rolling. But, yeah, what I wanted to talk about tonight, since we're all on indoor recess, and everyone, I've seen awesome things on like Facebook and stuff of everyone's indoor recess activities, which I've done some of my own. Shoot, I forgot one that I wanted to include. I'll run back and get it. Doesn't matter. Darn. But whatever, that's okay. I've got plenty. But I wanted to share with you guys some indoor recess activity ideas. So a lot of people are probably at home with their kids, or they're just at home with their pets like me. Either way, I've got something for everyone. So here we go. Real quick, I'm going to go over here, grab a shot glass, because I forgot to do that. I'm telling you, I remember the pipe, which is actually a thermometer pipe. And if I have a fever, little flames shoot out of here. So I'm good. I'm good. So you're not going to catch anything from me over the internet tonight. But let me grab a shot glass, and we'll get this going, okay? 1 second. Pause it and get your own shot glass. Okay, I'm back. Unpause it. Yeah, so anyway, tonight, no messing around with the bourbon. Didn't have time to really grab anything special or anything, so you got what's in my personal cabinet. Little guy here, little Woodford Reserve. I forget if I featured Woodward, well, blocking the fire, if I featured Woodford Reserve before. I probably did, because it's really good. I enjoy it. Yeah, so I actually went down to Louisville, Kentucky, and visited the sister distillery of Woodford Reserve, which is Old Forester, and it was super cool. So let's have some of the Woodford, though. So here we go. And then we'll get going. I won't keep you guys long. Good color. Beautiful golden Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Look at that. Let's roll it around, swish it around a little bit there. Okay. The old WW right here. Okay. Cheers, everybody. Here's to being, what did they say today on the TV? Socially distant, yet emotionally connected. Okay. Enjoy that fire. Ooh. Warms me right up. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Feeling that fire now. Might be running a temperature. Let me see. Nope, I'm still good. All right, cool. Well, let's get the show on the road. So you're on indoor recess for what, like 3 weeks or so? What are you going to do? Okay, well, since this is Books and Bourbon, obviously I'm going to start with books. I believe our governor today recommended that we dust the books off the shelf. All right, I'm following the law because it's illegal to be within 6 feet of anyone right now. So, first of all, whenever disaster strikes, who doesn't like reading about people who have it worse off than us? I know I don't. So, I'm going to start with post-apocalyptic books. All right, my first post-apocalyptic book of the evening. It's an oldie. It may have actually been like one of the first post-apocalyptic books ever written. Written in 1949, so very old. It is called Earth Abides by George R. Stewart. Okay, very thin, about 300 pages, and it's a good one. So it was so good that, oops, uh-oh, that means I took it from the library. Uh-oh. Sorry, Churchill, I will send you a check when you reopen. My bad. I forgot that was there. Yeah. So anyway, it was that good. So I read this in high school for a sci-fi class. And it's awesome. It's about the end of the world by a virus. And one dude makes it through. He was in the mountains. And he actually, I think, got bit by a snake while he was up there. And he almost died up in the mountains alone, climbing the mountains. And I think the snake bite somehow made him immune to the virus that everyone else gets. So it's got all your classic post-apocalyptic tropes going on. You know, isolation. There's, you know, Castaway Wilson. They stole that from this book. In a way, Wilson isn't a volleyball, but if you read the book, you'll definitely get what I'm talking about there. It gets into some mythology. I think it spans about 100 years around this one guy. So it's a very good isolation journey, really. And it's not that long. You'll rip through it pretty good. So it's a classic. Earth Abides is taken from the Bible. Once everything else is dead and gone, the earth still abides. So it's a good one. It's a good one. And it'll make you feel better. So that's my first choice. Earth Abides, George R. Stewart. All right, still in print. I'm sure it's a classic. Next one, yeah, okay. No surprise here. This all depends on how much time you have. How long are you on indoor recess for? This long or that long? Okay, probably this long. Under the Dome. I think everyone's either heard of it or watched the show or read the book already. It's a good one. Stephen King, you know, not his very, very best, but I will say this. This sucker is over 1,000 pages long, and it reads like it's 300 pages long. So it's a real page turner. If you're not familiar with the plot, for no rhyme or reason, a transparent dome just appears over this one city one day, and they can't get out, and they don't know why it's there, and no one can get in, and it's all about the town, which Stephen King does towns very, very well. So you get little vignettes of all the characters in the town. Of course, in Stephen King world, you know, half of them are insane already, so, you know, chaos ensues. But it follows an Afghanistan war veteran. He's the main character. And it's good, you know, but it changes viewpoints multiple times. And it reads fast. So it was a good one, solid. And I'd rather be where we're at right now than trapped under a transparent dome with no idea of how to get out of it. So, and they run out of air, right? Because it's transparent, but it's solid. So they're eventually going to run out of air. So Under the Dome. Or check out the show instead. That'll eat up some hours. But it was a good book. It was a good book. Oh, and just so you know, Barnes & Noble did close, I believe, today in Michigan. So you can order them, you know. Keep Amazon going. Yeah. So there's that one. So there's two good ones. Earth Abides is more classic, groundbreaking, in my opinion. But Under the Dome is good. And it's, you know, obviously a lot more recent. But Earth Abides is timeless. So Earth Abides abides. Let me have a sip of this here. All right. That was just to get us all ready for the most classic one. I got a kitty sighting. Hi, Bubba. Hi, Bubba. Yeah, you're interested in this one too, aren't you? Classic, we all know it, but now you might actually have a chance to read it. And that is, of course, a book I use to weigh down something that needs weighing down, and, you know, multiple other reasons. That would be this one. That's The Stand. Yeah, it's one of the greatest post-apocalyptic books ever written. First 300, 400 pages is a great telling of the world quickly falling apart. Characters are all fantastic. This is one of Stephen King's best books. It's also over 1,000 pages. This is the uncut one, which I think is the only one they sell now. It's worth it. It's better uncut. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, it delivers. Plus it gets more, this gets into a lot of spirituality, good versus evil kind of thing, as you can tell from the cover. Good, evil kind of thing. The whole thing, though, it does read, unlike Under the Dome, this baby does feel like over 1,000 pages. You live this thing. I mean, it's deep. This is a level of depth Stephen King hasn't shown in a long time. Even if he's still good, which he is. This is like the real deal, heavy stuff, physically and figuratively. So, The Stand, even if you've read it and it's been a long time, dust it off. It's a good journey. I've read it, I think, 3 times, and I liked it better and better each time as I got older, too. So, characters are awesome. The bad guys are awesome. The settings are awesome. It's epic. It's just great. So, The Stand, guys. Woo! The Stand. Or watch it, too. The miniseries was really good, too, with Rob Lowe and Gary Sinise and Molly Ringwald. That's a good one. So, but the book, it's always better. It's always better. So, The Stand. All right. So those are my post-apocalyptic ones, okay? But I understand there's some of you, that's not your thing. You don't want to read about people worse off than we are right now to make you feel better, and I actually applaud you for that. Maybe there's something wrong with me for wanting to do that. So I gave you guys some other ideas. And right now, with that amount of time that we might have apart, there's always time for a good trilogy. Trilogies are always good. And in this case, for those of you who have kids who might be young adults, you know, I'd say 12, anywhere from 12 to like 15, 16. This would be a good family bonding choice. You know, read aloud, take turns, play popcorn. Remember popcorn? That was always fun. They'll like this series. It's very escapist, totally different than, you know, the world we know. Absolutely, you know, but not totally unfamiliar to the world we know, as you'd see if you read the books. But anyway, it is the Xanth trilogy, which the first book is, and these are from the 80s or late 70s, I think. The first book is called A Spell for Chameleon, and I think I mentioned this one in another Books and Bourbon about children's lit and young adult lit. Well, guess what? It's really good, so I'm plugging it again. A Spell for Chameleon. This is the first one. It's a trilogy. Actually, there might be more, but the main series is a trilogy. And if you like them more, you can go more in depth with the other Xanth books. But I think the main arc is a trilogy. So, Spell for Chameleon is the first one. Very unique world he's got going on here. It's a fantastical, made-up country world that looks a lot like Florida. That might come into it later. I don't think it does in the first trilogy, but yeah, here's a map of the fantastical world. So it's definitely Florida, and it says right there, it may resemble Florida. Whatever. Other than that, it bears no resemblance to Florida. So, but in this world, everything, every living thing has intrinsic biological magic that it has. And every single living organism's magic is different, what it can do. Some is kind of, but it's all evolutionary. It all has to do with their own survival, right? It gets very natural selection-ish, which I really thought was cool. And he put a lot of thought into this. and you find out what every creature and every plant, every living thing's spell is. And it's really neat, just even getting into why a certain plant has a spell that allows it to do this. And then he'll explain it to you, and usually it's evolutionarily a good thing. And so humans have it too, and every human being has their own spell that allows them. Some are more powerful than others, but they all serve a purpose. Except there's some humans who don't have a spell, and they actually get exiled into the jungle to fend for themselves. And one of those characters is Bink, who's that guy right there. He comes of age and still hasn't discovered what his magic is. And that's kind of gets into the title a little bit. I don't want to get into a spoiler with the title, so I won't. Are you intrigued? Please be, because this was awesome. This is a great book. Great book. And it's about 350 pages. It reads pretty quick, though. It's not like a Lord of the Rings kind of thing. And it's very eye-opening. I read it in middle school, and it really just opened my eyes to a deep, rich fantasy world, you know, that wasn't so in-depth as Middle-earth, that was like, oh, you made up your own language. That's heavy. You made up your own mythology. No, this is it's a lot more approachable, but still like really effective. And adults, let me tell you, it's still cool. So this would be a good parent-child, I'm rambling, this would be a good parent-child bonding book to read. And if they like the first one, and you like the first one, guess what? There's the second one called The Source of Magic. And these are all in print. These are all still in print. And there's the third one, Castle Rugna. Castle Rugna. And they're all about the same length. They're all about 350 pages. So good stuff, though. Piers Anthony, he's got a sense of humor, too. Absolutely. So they're not, you know, there's lighthearted moments in the books and everything. Nothing heartbreaking. No Bridge to Terabithia stuff going on in those books. So I highly recommend those if you have teens or young teens and you want to read a book together. However, adults, if you happen to be stuck at home with 3 cats and a rabbit, and there's a trilogy that you're really looking forward to reading that's not too super long, and the first book totally took you away, and you read the first 2 pages of the second book, and you're like, whoa, it would be this one. This is the Southern Reach trilogy, and a movie came out of the first book already. I hated it after reading the book. I don't know. Maybe I just don't like Natalie Portman because I think she was in it. But whatever. The Southern Reach trilogy, the first book is called Annihilation, and it's by Jeff Vandermeer. So what I like about a good trilogy is the first book draws you in, and it's not too long. Hi, Bob. And this one isn't. This one's only 190 pages, and it's a quick 190 pages. It's quick, but there's a lot going on in it. So Annihilation, let me get a light, washed it out a little bit. Yeah. Good one. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. If you like dark, with a lot of foreboding, and if you like your first book creating more questions than answers, that's this. Real simple setup. I think we're about maybe Bob. Now he's on the computer. Bob. No, you can't be on the computer. Keep it on the computer. Sorry, guys. We're live. Basically, we really are. Just the camera angle. There we go. Where was I? I totally lost my train of thought. 1 second. Train of thought brought back. No, it's a really dark book. It creates more questions than answers, and it just draws you right in. So we're about 80 years, I'd want to say, into the future, and something happened where a region of the world became uninhabitable, just one region, and they send expeditions there to try to find out why. What's wrong with this area? Why did we have to leave this area? And all these expeditions come back with weird, different results, and the area is called Area X. And this book follows the 8th, I think, 8th expedition into Area X, mainly from one character's point of view. It's super good. I mean, from page 10 on, I think I finished it in one day, and from page 10 on, I was like, oh, this is great. And if you like Lovecraft, there's some H.P. Lovecraft going on. Major twists are in store on this thing. Yeah, so Annihilation, Jeff Vandermeer. I've already had a couple friends read this who really liked it too. So, and it's short. It's short. And then book 2 of the Southern Reach trilogy is called Acceptance. This one's longer, and I can tell you in the first 10 pages of Acceptance, book 2, it completely changes everything you thought you knew about book 1. Love them. Love them. So this is what I'm going to reread this. I read this about 6 months ago, and then something happened where I was super into this, and I just didn't have the time to finish it. So I'm going to reread. Actually, this is next. I'm rereading Annihilation. You got to reread it if you take a break, because so much is going on. And then I can't wait to get back into this. And then Authority is the... oh, wait, no, I got them backwards. God, it's because they all start with A's. Authority's the second one. Authority's the second one. But they're both about the same length. But Authority's the second one. There we go. It's got a bunny on it. And then Acceptance has an owl on it, and that's the last one. So, yeah. Very cool, though. Very cool, guys. Highly, highly, highly recommend. Won't disappoint. Okay. I'll move faster. Going back to dystopia, though, I would highly recommend this one, or not well, this is a dystopia, post-apocalyptic dystopia. There's fine points between the two, but what's better than a young adult dystopian post-apocalyptic book or trilogy? That would be the Scythe trilogy, Arc of a Scythe trilogy. These are mainly meant, I'd say, for probably 8th to 10th grade, maybe. High level 6th, 7th grade. Honestly, though, there's some themes going on in here that are really dark for like a 6th grader. They'd have to be pretty high. I'm blocking my fire. They'd have to be pretty high level for this book. And it won a Young Adult Award. This is book 1. It's just called Scythe. The series is called Arc of a Scythe. I just finished the trilogy about a month ago. It was really good. Dark humor, dark... quick summary, that's all I'll give you. We're about 200 years in the future. Mankind has beaten death 100%. We can cure everything. And that causes a problem, because if no one can die, we're going to overpopulate the earth. So something has to be done to curb population. Either we have to do, birth restriction. And we're talking literally, people don't die anymore. They can reset their age. You can have a 400-year-old who looks like they're 20. So you could do one of two things. You could restrict the birth rate, which, as we saw in real life, doesn't work very well. Or the choice they opt for is to actually glean people randomly. And the people who do that are scythes. And they're actually revered as like judges or priests. And they have the power to actually kill people. And so this series follows 2 teenage scythe apprentices and follows them through their scythedom. So this first book mainly has to do with the scythedom and how the scythedom works, kind of like Jedi Knights, hint, hint. Yeah, the rest of the series goes in a different direction, kind of. And what's really cool about the series is the way that we beat death is actually by the cloud becoming all-powerful. We give all power to the cloud. If you've seen Terminator 2, you've seen the bad version of that, Skynet. In this series, it's actually not necessarily a bad thing. And they name it the Thunderhead. So Cloud, Thunderhead. Yeah, it's a good series. It's pretty cool. I suggest it. It's kind of dark. It doesn't hit, it's not perfect. Some of the ones I recommended here so far are better. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good, especially for newer young adult stuff. It's good, and the trilogy is very readable. It moves fast. So the Arc of a Scythe series, good to share with kids, age dependent. All right, and then last book thing, and then I'll move on, is one of the greatest post-apocalyptic trilogies that I've read ever, that I think exists, actually. And if you haven't read these, I don't know what happened, if there was a show, or if it got dropped, or what happened with the show. It should have, I don't think it should have ever happened. As soon as I, just like The Dark Tower, which is another great one, as soon as I found out what format and how they were going to do this one, I was like, uh-oh. Nope, not even going to watch it. But the series is fantastic. Post-apocalyptic. Oh my God, the world we're in right now is so much better than the world we're living in this book. The Passage trilogy by Justin Cronin. This is a journey. Just this first book is deceptive. It's over 700 pages, and it's chock full of words. It's a deep read. It's going to take you right away for a while. It's fantastic. But it is a trilogy, so 3 books. The Passage, The Ten, and City of Mirrors. If you get through this one and you like it, but you're like, my God, there's 2 more after this. The weird part is the rest of the trilogy really picks up steam. The other 2 books read a lot faster than this one. There's a whole lot of world building in this one, and I don't mean that in a bad way. He does things that you normally shouldn't do in a book 1. He gets really in depth, and he skips hundreds of years into the future. Then he goes back. It's really cool. Quick overview. There's a virus that they discover that someone accidentally gets from a vampire bat. Oh, shit, I gave away a spoiler. Oh, I said shit. There's a virus from a vampire bat, and the government tries to harness that as a weapon. We always know what happens when that happens. All hell breaks loose. Unlike The Stand takes a good... You're in the decline of the world for about 300 to 400 pages in The Stand. It's in-depth, it's realistic, it's detailed. This, The End of the World, he doesn't really get into as much, which is cool. He gets into why it falls apart, but, it's not a play-by-play of the end of the world. It's just like, boom, and here's how it ends. And now, here's what happens after. Way after. It's fantastic. I really don't want to say more than that about the book. It's about a little girl, a detective, or FBI agent, and some really good people that want the world to survive. So, and some really bad, messed up creatures. So that's all I'll say. The Passage. I hope you're intrigued, because this is one of the greats. It really is. So, The Passage. All right. So that's it for the books. But John, you say, I'm not a big reader. It's okay. It's all good. Why don't you play a game instead? All right? I picked this guy up the other day. Still got the old wrapper on it. It's called Mystery House. I think it's kind of new. Adventures in a Box. All right, I'll be playing this pretty soon. And what it is it's basically a set-up escape room in a box. So there is some setup required. And you use an app. And the app gives you your directions, okay? And I think these cards, and I'm sorry if it's glistening, these cards actually form gateways to block. You actually are going to look into this thing like a Viewmaster kind of thing and look at a card. And then once you beat that card, it comes with a light. Once you beat that card, you pull the card out and you can see a different room to look into. Sounds really cool. Now, what's appealing for this, a couple things for all of us indoor recess people. They say ages 14 and up. All right, I guess. Yeah. It comes with one scenario, and then you can order expansion or new scenarios. But honestly, the big appeal, you can play it alone. All right? You can play it alone with your cats and your rabbit. Yeah, so I'm digging that, though. So I might check that out alone. Or, maybe skip the limits of the law and ask my girlfriend to play it. So yeah, Mystery House. I got this at the bookstore, Barnes & Noble. You can find it everywhere, I'm sure. So play a game. I already saw game playing going on. So very cool. Another idea, those good solo activities. Here's one that was new to me up until a little while ago. That is adult level connect the dots. So this is a Star Wars dot to dot. I believe we had these at the bookstore. I believe this is the most difficult dot to dot book I've ever seen, even amongst adult dot to dot books. Just to give you, buy a magnifying glass, and just to give you an idea, here's an example of one puzzle. You see those little things? Yeah, those are all dots. This particular one has 3 sets, different colored sets of series of dots, for a quick total of like 1,700 dots. Okay, you got to be pretty bored, but once you get rolling, it's completely addictive, and you won't be able to stop before you finish one. Let me see. I got a couple that I've done. Let me find out. Some are better than others, but it's like, $7. Here's my favorite one. It was the first one in the book. I remember doing this one. This was a while ago. But here, this is what it looks like when it's done. I hope the Star Wars. Does that look familiar? Yeah, that's all pencil. That's connecting the dots. In fact, that 576 up there, that was so I think I had a cigarette break, so I'd remember what dot I left off on. So, yeah, man, neurotic, but fun. Yeah, so adult dot to dot. Or, if you want something a little more in-depth, if you know me very well, find a new hobby, okay? One of mine is magic, and I'm going to share with you one of my favorite introductory magic books that you can order online, and it'll open up, if you're not familiar with card tricks, it's cards. If you're not familiar with card tricks, you can have a lot of frickin' fun with this book. Yeah, so this is by a guy named Roberto Giobbi, who's one of the more modern card magic authors. He's written, well, I'll tell you about that. But the one I have, this one is called Card College Lighter. He made 2 series. He made Card College and he made Card College Light. This is the second book in Card College Light. So if you want to start with the first book of Card College Light, it's just called Card College Light. This was the only one they had at the Magic Store when I went there to buy it. You can get it online, I'm pretty sure. They're a little more expensive. This isn't considered a normal book, so they're going to charge you a little bit more for it. It's considered a magic book. I think this was $30. It's thin. But I'll tell you, it's gonna fill up. You may be swept up in that crazy little thing called magic, because it swept me up for a lot of time and money. This one's really good though. So what you'll see here, and why I'm recommending it, professional card magic without sleight of hand. Okay, so there's 2 schools of card magic. Well, there's more than that, but there's 2 broad ones. There's sleight of hand card magic, and there's self-working card magic. The first card trick most people learn is a self-worker, which means there's no sleight of hand involved. There's deception, there may be math involved, there may be other fun, pretty diabolical things going on. Actually, I like self-working card tricks a lot because they throw people off a lot. Yeah, except there's no sleight of hand. You can pretend there's sleight of hand. There's not. So, technically, they're pretty easy to pick up. Performance-wise, if you don't like doing card tricks, it doesn't matter if there's sleight of hand involved anyway, So it's all about the interaction with the audience and stuff, and you being excited about bringing that to them. That's more than half of it, is just you being excited about it. There's some good tricks in here that you might get excited about. So Roberto Giobbi, Card College Lite, look up. I want to get a price on it. I think it was 30 bucks, but I'll tell you, for 30 bucks, there's a whole lot of material in here, and you're going to learn some stuff, and it's going to build some foundations for some things. So, yeah, so learn Magic. It's fun. And you'll be like, oh, I did it. You know, I could say learn violin. That'd be cool, too. This is easier, though, and the payout is more fun. When the bars open back up again, have fun with this one. I don't know, though. If someone just broke out a violin at a bar, that'd be pretty cool, too. Maybe I'll do that. I'm going to learn violin and then just go to bars and start playing violin for people. So I'll write that down for me. Anyway, Card College Lite. If you get through that one, his normal sleight of hand card magic course is Card College. And that is a complete course in sleight of hand card magic. You know, so this is pretty detailed stuff. This gets pretty into it. This is volume 1. There's 6 or 7 volumes. But, I mean, you got, yeah. Don't worry, that's a productive cough. That's not a dry cough. I'm good. But, yeah. Oh, boy. If you enjoy the non-sleight of hand stuff, check out the sleight of hand stuff. Start with volume 1. They're meant to go in order. Volume 5, you're going to get frustrated. So I get very frustrated with volume 5. So start with volume 1 and check out learn some sleight of hand stuff. It's pretty cool. It's fun. Yeah, I'm getting pretty close to the end here. So yeah, my last thing, here's what I plan on picking up too. And I just didn't know this existed, and I thought it was a great idea. I love games, and one game I never learned how to play is the greatest game to a lot of people is chess. So one day I was out, still got the old wrapper on this one, and Barnes & Noble had a no-stress chess. And what's cool is you can learn how to play by yourself without anyone else over your shoulder telling you what you should or shouldn't do, because it gives you cards. I don't have the mirror lens down thing. It gives you cards that tell you what each piece does. And it gives you certain scenarios you can set up, you know, small micro battles that you can set up with certain pieces, and you can learn how to use certain groups strategically. So I might be digging into that one. So yeah, learn chess, I guess. And then we can play together over Skype or whatever, you know, they're using now. So yeah, guys, that's about all I have. Adopt a pet. You know, all animal shelters, I think, are still open, as are pet stores, I think. I know they considered vets, you know, essential business. Get a pet. Add a new family member. You're not going to give it to them, you know. So, yeah, guys, that's about all I got. So, here. Hope you enjoyed this little diversion or invasion of me into your living room or on your PC tonight. For a little bit here. Do a little hamsy with everyone. And, yeah, let's do it. I've got chess to learn. Alright, guys. Cheers, everyone. Stay safe. Miss you guys already. Some of you guys a lot. So, cheers. Thanks for watching if you are watching. Hope you enjoyed. Then my screensaver turns on. Ah! There we go, I'm back. Cheers, stay safe, everyone. Let's go, Michigan. Boo politics. Yay, public health and staying home and having fun. And indoor recess for all. So, cheers, everyone. Love you guys. Bye.